Round 13. The year is 1815. Coal miners are busy mining coal. There is a great demand for coal now, home heating, fuel for steam engines, and for the production of iron. Although in the 1700s coal miners were adults who worked in the winter to supplement their wages, in the 1800s they are typically children between the ages of 8 and 14. The work is dangerous and unhealthy. Children become victims of black lung, explosions, and accidents. Their growth is stunted as they spend most of their 14-hour day stooped over. They are malnourished and unable to exercise or eat properly. Casualty rates go up. Draw one cemetery. Round 14. It is 1820. The existing canals and dirt roads cannot accommodate the heavy industrial traffic. New experiments with transportation using the power of steam engine are tried. The most successful appears to be a steam engine that pulls a series of wagons or cars on an iron track. The first railroad is tested and proves to be quite effective. Add one major railroad line connecting your factory districts to your coal mining regions. Round 15. It is 1827. This new revolution in transportation draws thousands of people to your community. Soon there becomes a surplus of workers. Capitalists who wish to ensure their profits decide to hire women and children over men because they can perform the same factory labor at 1/2 to 1/4 the price. More and more children leave their homes to work in factories. Unemployed miners are unable to find work. Depressed, ashamed, and angry about their wives and children toiling in factories, many men turn to crime and the social life of the pub. For the first time in England's history, alcoholism appears in epidemic proportions. Family life that existed for hundreds of years in England is disrupted. Family members seldom eat together or see each other. Add one jail and 2 pubs. Round 16. It is 1835. Using steam engines and iron and soon steel, British manufacturers introduced power-driven machinery in many industries. The production of shoes, clothing, furniture, and ammunition became mechanized, as did printing and papermaking. People used machines to cut and finish lumber, to process foods, and to make other machines. Some new inventions and innovative processes had important byproducts. These byproducts often developed into separate industries. For example, iron smelteries used coke, a byproduct of coal, to improve the smelting process. Then someone discovered that the gases that coal released during the coke-making process could be burned to give light. During the 1830s, London and other large towns became the first communities to pipe in gas to burn in streetlights. Soon, all around England, hundreds of towns used gas to light streets and homes. Add 20 street lamps.
You're messing with the wrong guy.
We're up to 1 million hits. Sweet. Who is it?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, right.
Round 17. It is 1838. Let's look at the working conditions in the factories. The 2 predominant factories are textile and iron. Working conditions in either of these 2 were appalling. Many workers contracted the deadly factory fever or white lung disease. It was probably a variety of lung ailments, cancer, tuberculosis, emphysema, and so on. Other workers were injured on the job in factory accidents. There were no protective railings around huge moving mechanical parts of machinery. Children weakened from the lack of proper sleep or diet stumbled into machinery and were mutilated. Women's long hair came undone and was caught in moving machinery. Regardless if you were unable to work, you were fired. There was no health insurance. There was always a daily line of unemployed workers waiting in line to fill vacant jobs. Add 2 hospitals and 1 more cemetery. Round 18. It is 1840. The need for quicker and cheaper transportation quickens. Coal, iron, finished products, raw materials must all be transported from one area of England to another. In Ireland in the late 1830s, a devastating potato famine drove hundreds of thousands of Irish to England. Here was the cheapest labor possible to build more railroads. Add 1 more railroad line. Round 19. It is 1842. By this year, several million acres of good English land had been enclosed and sold to private parties for large estates. Despite the misery this creates for England's landless poor, the economic benefits for the rich are obvious. These farmers purchase the newest power-driven machinery and can easily feed the working class of England, including the Irish. The small landowning farmer is crushed by the enclosed commons. They cannot afford the machinery and therefore cannot compete and grow food profitably. Thousands of these folks leave their villages where their ancestors had lived for hundreds of years and move back to towns and cities looking for work to feed their families. Some refused to leave but took jobs working for the large landowning farmers. By the thousands they moved to the bleak, uninviting towns of the north in the new cotton mills. Add 20 houses, 5 tenements, 2 stores, 1 church, 5 factories, 1 pub, and 1 more nice house.
When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he doesn't push himself up, he pushes the earth down. There are no steroids in baseball, only players Chuck Norris has breathed on. That's not fair. I don't know. Believe me, some of these ought to be screenplay writers here. Rather than being birthed like a normal child, Chuck Norris instead decided to push his way out. Punch his way out. Punch his way out. Chuck Norris once shot down a German fighter plane with his finger by yelling, "Bang."
That's true.
Oh, man. Chuck Norris doesn't churn butter. He roundhouse kicks the cows, and the butter comes straight out. Get my butter. When Chuck Norris sends in his taxes, he sends blank forms and includes only a picture of himself, crouched and ready to attack. Chuck Norris has never had to pay taxes ever.
Is that true?
That's not true. That is not true. That's a total farce.
I live with Chuck Norris.
In fine print on the last page of the Guinness Book of World Records, it notes that all world records are held by Chuck Norris, and those listed in the book are simply the closest anyone else has ever gotten.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, this is one of my favorites here. When the boogeyman goes to sleep every night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is currently suing NBC, claiming Law and Order are trademark names for his left and right legs. Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. Too bad he never cries, ever.
Oh, man.
I gotta say my favorite one, though.
Oh, you guys, he's saying his favorite one.
Here's my favorite one.
Yes.
They wanted to put Chuck Norris's face on Mount Rushmore, but the granite wasn't hard enough for his beard.
Yeah!
Round 20. It is 1845. There are some advantages for many of the urban dwellers. City life is quite different from country life, but for the small but growing middle classes, a whole new cultural life is available. Museums, theaters, opera, restaurants, plays, concerts are all made available. Whereas before only the aristocrats could afford the arts, now the middle class enjoys the fine life of culture and good living. Add 2 theaters and 2 private schools. Round 21. It is 1850. There are no pollution controls, so the air in your community looks dark. Windows, walls, even trees are covered with layers of soot and coke. The river that once flowed through your quiet village for hundreds of years is now unfit for drinking, breathing, or even laundry. A new disease begins to take the lives of people. Malignant tumors grow in people's bodies, and the term cancer is first used in the medical profession. The average life expectancy for the poor classes is now 30 years of age. Your city is overcrowded and shrouded in factory smoke. The noise, the loss of privacy, the loss of the family unit shatters the peace of the old ways. Suicides rate doubles, then triples. Add 1 cemetery, 1 jail, and 1 hospital to accommodate the victims of urban life.